No, I think I've turned the volume too high on the cinematic film behind me. Yeah, it's up. Bill, the galactic hero on the planet of zombie vampires. And tonight's episode of A Book at Damn Time. I had to figure out which even. It's only like episode 4. Here we are, another book in the Bill, the Galactic series. Harry Harrison and Jack C. Haldeman II. I would automatically say, with just these two books to go on, much better than Dave Bishop's, in that it's simply mediocre. Um, Bill, big, brawny, and brainwashed, possessor of 2 right arms, impressive when it comes to saluting, and a foot that is threatening to turn into something more suited to being an umbrella stand than anything can be squeezed into a size 11 sneaker. A perfect recruit for the good ship Bounty, bound for the Chinga War and carrying a cargo of as nice a company of homicidal misfits and maniacs as you could wish to meet outside of a penitentiary asylum. He's back, he's bad, and about to meet the most hideous alien life forms of his entire career. He'd do anything to save his skin without rocking the boat. But mutiny on the Bounty? Now, it's not the big thing there. That's basically the play on the facehugger. It's that fella there. It's that Giga influenced guy there. Yeah, it's aliens. Aliens, I stress. And it's quite, they don't have the book, one book within a book, and that's about vampire bats. Couple of things that came across in this book. I don't know if it's set before or after. You basically have 2 sections. The more surrealist, typical for Bill elements is he wants a new foot. The old one's fallen off. They've given him a foot bud, which takes ages to grow. So he has basically a peg leg, for want of a better term, while joining this crew. The captain of it is obviously Admiral Bull Nutbart. It's a trap. But it's also that there is a guy who has animosity to Bill's other arm. It wasn't described in the second book, really, or it must have been done in such a passing mode during the multiverse of mundanity. It's um it's his black best friend's right arm. Uh, so much you can be loaded into that. The guy who he talks to says that arm reminds him of a guy called Tembo who was into voodoo and he would like to slap the shit out of Tembo. Tembo's arm takes umbrage with that, and Bill knows it's going to be along for the ride. This has never really been mentioned before. I assumed at this point that the arm was clone, synthetic. There has obviously been some relationship with the man whose arm this was. That did quite surprise me, but again, aside from a few puns, doesn't really have any impact. The book itself is pretty much on rails. It's following the fact that once there is a mutiny on the ship, there is an android who turns out to be quite happy for them all to be eaten and face hugged. And I am surprised that the alien doesn't come out of someone's bum. That's basically, but that's basically the level we're dealing at. There's some slight red dwarfish levels of quite close to red dwarf humor. Of I'll be in charge if you let me use the tape. But if you've got the tape, I've got the hose, and we need the hose to get the eye pipes running. So I'm in charge. Stuff that's in there. But it's ruined by the fact there's 3 clones called Larry, Curly, and Mo. There's no female prisoner running around in their pants as a homage to Alien, and Charlie Bond is banned from the comments for thinking that, look, I'm just saying, if you're going to do the milieu, um, that would be a decent descriptive. So I haven't even bothered picking up descriptives, although admittedly, I've just been in the pub with Tom. So that's his fault. Faltering Fallback, lovely pub. It's so lush. Do like and subscribe. There are elements that I see playing into later stories. There's a gas that basically tells them to be daft and go wandering off on their own. Now, we've seen that in Cabin in the Woods subsequently. The idea that the facehuggers are actually trying to be as adorable as possible, being like fluffy duck teddy bears, that works as well because we've seen that in a number of Doctor Who things where the cuddly villain turns out to be the big bad. Whether or not someone's a zombie or a monster or a mummy is never really made quite clear. These are just very classic terms being imposed on the Alien franchise. A lot of talk about the diet because their food is going down and eating broccoli and basically beans. Beans are more for your heart. And the fact that his foot throughout most of this is a gigantic elephant's foot. So it is a step up to the previous scatological time of the planet of pointless plotting. But really, I would still swerve this space capade and look out for something better. Um, I finished it pretty much in the day. There's an evil android. I mean, it's the thing is, it's not a homage. It's just a rote. I might as well read an adaptation of Alien. Um, in fact, I've listened to it many times. I think I will probably cover it later. There's a great bit about how people dream. The point is, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Bill the Galactic Hero on the planet of zombie vampires. The planet is seen as evil. Um, the few nods to why they're as daft as they are. And okay, let's not forget that it is a mutiny. And there is a kind of element where you can see Bill in the middleman role of someone who desperately wants to go out, the crab culture, the Orientalism that these hierarchies thrive on, which is taking someone who's kind of in that position and shoving them in the middle so that they can keep their hands morally clean. And say, oh, we didn't know what was happening while threatening anyone who has any aspiration. Late stage capitalism for the win. So, a better book, yes. But then again, there are much better books out there for you to spend your time on. Not enough explosions. A lot of talk about grenades. No one's bum. And yeah, great ideas just thrown in and then thrown out again. So to me, swerve, like and subscribe.